Welcome! This is Alistair Lars, and I'm here today to present to you a small tutorial on my Day-Night Cycle++, which can help you easily add a day and night cycle into any game. All you'll need to do is take your project and add in the time cycle object and the time cycle tab scripts. After that, it's just adding in the time cycle object to your scene and you're off and rolling. Let's go ahead and take a couple of Yo-Yo's demos and add a day-night cycle to them to get a quick idea of what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and start with our favorite demo here, the Vegetable Ninja, because everybody loves ninjas and nobody loves vegetables, right? No, I love vegetables. Let's go ahead and chop them up anyway. So we're going to go ahead and add a script. We're going to right-click on scripts. We're going to add an existing script, and we're going to add the configuration time cycle scripts. It's a tab set of scripts, so it's going to ask us, are you sure? Yes, of course we're sure. Once we've got that in there, we're going to go ahead and right-click objects and add an existing object. We're going to add in the object time cycle. Click OK. And the last but not least, we're going to go to our rooms, and in this game here, it's the R game room. We're going to go to objects, and we're going to add the object time cycle in there. And technically, we're all set. But fortunately, the system is set up to be a little more resource conscious. So we're going to turn off the calendar cycle because our Vegetable Ninja does not care what day it is. He just wants to go out at night. So right here we see our main configuration file. This has all the settings that are going to control the system. And right here, one of the first ones, global date calendars on, needs to be set to false. By doing that, the system won't bother with the calendar system, and it will save all the resources it would otherwise be putting towards that. So let's go ahead and click Run the Game and see what we've got here. Previously, our Vegetable Ninja, a ninja by day, unheard of. Now, the Vegetable Ninja, a ninja by night. Chopping up potatoes, carrots, peppers, and some broccoli. No, leeks, bombs, onions. It won't give me any broccoli. Oh my gosh, there we go. Now you notice here the daytime is coming in. It started off in the middle of the night. Day is dragging its way through. It's getting brighter as the morning progresses, up until it hits midday, and then it'll hit the midday pause before going and getting darker as the night increases. So no longer a ninja by day, or perhaps a ninja by day and a ninja by night. So that's the simplicity of it. You can just throw it in there and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and close this out. Let's do something a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and jump into the platform demo here. So let's jump into intermediate tile-based platform. We're going to open that up. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add in our script, add existing script, config time cycle, yes, and then we're going to add in the object time cycle. Right-click objects, add existing object, and then once again we're going to go to rooms, open up room 1, objects, get that object in the room, and now we're functional. But we're going to go ahead and change it just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and open up the time cycle script, the config time cycle. We're going to make a couple of changes. Now this one we do want the calendars turned on. These little guys in this platformer, they want to know what day it is. But one thing we're going to do is we're going to change our cycle length. The cycle length, if you notice here, is real world seconds. How long does it take to go from midnight to midnight in real world seconds? In this case, we just want that set to a small 40. Let's go lower. Let's go 30. So our entire day cycle is only 30 seconds. Pause would be at midday and at midnight, how long the game is going to wait before it starts increasing or decreasing the darkness. So once it hits noon, it's going to wait 240 game world minutes, not real world minutes, game world minutes, which would equate to 4 hours or 4 p.m. before it starts getting darker. Same at 12 a.m. It's going to wait 180 game world minutes or 3 game hours before it starts getting lighter. We're going to go ahead and ignore the rest of these settings for a moment. But we're going to come down here to our calendar. So now that we're using calendars, we can change various aspects of it. Days here will let us adjust how many days we want in our game week. We're going to go ahead and adjust that down to 2. How many weeks do we want in our month? And we're going to go ahead and set that to 2. And then how many months we have in a year. And we're going to go ahead and set that down to 2 as well. Because we only have 2 months, we're only going to go with 2 seasons. And we'll let it start at day 1, week 1, month 1, and the starting year will be 999. Now down here, we do have additional things we can do, depending on what you want your days to be called. You've got examples of it coming down here. So this is the time name. We'll look here. We've got Monday, we've got Tuesday. We don't want our game to be using Tuesday. We're going to have it be called, what do we call it here? We'll call it 4th day, just because that's exciting. Alright, and now we'll come down here to our 2nd month, and we can go ahead and change that 2nd month up to Lumpduary. So we're going to go ahead and leave that as it is. We're going to click plus, and now the only other thing we're going to do here so that we can actually see this output is we're going to uncomment out under draw GUI here some system outputs examples. So we'll take that comment mark out of here. You can just play with these if you need. You can erase this. This is not important for the system to work. It's just there for an example. And then we're going to go ahead and run our program. Here we go. Nice and tiny. Let's full screen that. Oh, I can't full screen it on the right screen. Yeah, it's not made for full screen. We'll go ahead and just deal with the tiny screen. There we go. So you see our clock there counting up. Our first day, week, month. Our season means summer. The day name being Monday. The month name being January. We see it's morning now with the time clicking up. And as we walk around and explore our world, it becomes afternoon, evening, finally dusk, and night. And once the 24-hour cycle is done, it's on day 2. We see it's now, the name of the day is 4th day, as we had changed it to. Still the season of summer, and now it's counting up again. This will continue on. You can customize your names just by changing them in that list. You can customize the names of your days, your months, your seasons. You can even customize the names of your time of day if you don't want to go with standardized names or you're trying to do multilingual. Very easy to do, and have it off and going. And that'll continue on from there. So we'll close out the rest of this. Our final example is going to be with our Angry Cats physics demo. This will go a little bit deeper in. Bear with me for a second as we go through this. We're going to try and do one extra thing with this. We're going to start the same way. Nice clean setup. Right click, add existing scripts. Yes, and go to objects, add existing object. Now we're going to add in a sprite too, though. We're going to add an existing sprite. And this is going to come in the set. We'll have several different sprites to give off different effects. But we're going to go ahead and, for the sake of this one, we're going to take 3 here. And this is a simple light source, a simple transparent light source to be used that we're going to go ahead and tie into our game. So now if we go in here to config time cycle, we'll get that one opened up. We're going to go ahead and just leave the base settings. We don't need to change that for now. Well, you know what, we will. We're going to go ahead and turn that down to 40 so our day length is shorter and quicker to see. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to find our game cats. So object cat waiting, and where do we have our cat stored? There, object angry cat. So this should be what we're shooting around. That's our main cat there. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave this off to the side. We're going to come over here to draw a day cycle. We're going to move this comment down a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and change this to with object angry cat. So now it's targeting that object, and we're going to go ahead and draw light source 3, and we're not going to use glow size. If you can use a glow size that you can specify in your object, so in your angry cat object, so you can give different glow sizes to different ones, but in this case we're going to go ahead and just do 0.5. Let's just keep it in 1, keep it simple. Now here at the color, we could change this, so if we didn't want a white glow and we wanted a dark red glow or a blue glow from a blue crystal, you could change that. But that's about it. From there, we can go ahead and click OK. And let's run our game and see what we get. This is live, first time I tested this in here, so let's see what happens. So we've got a mistake. We forgot a step. Go back to game room, and we need to head our object. It's not going to do anything if it's not in the game. So let's go ahead and try to run it now. Let's see what we get. There's our cat. Oh! Well, that scaled it nice and pretty. Apparently the directions on our cats are not quite exact, probably due to the physics of the game, but nonetheless, it's a functional add-on, and it doesn't take too much tweaking to get that where you want it to be. In fact, if we came in here one more time into the draw day cycle and were to take a look here at this command, that's there, x scales 0.1, we just need that as a 1, and XX, and I believe with our angry cat here, let's just take a look at its sprite, make sure it's centered. Wow, that's a beautiful looking hunk of meat sprite. There we go, cats. Yeah, it seems like it's centered on the cat. So we should be good there. Let's take a look at our light source. It looks centered. Good. Alright, let's go ahead and now that the scaling's not 0.1, let's just see how it looks in comparison to what we were seeing last time. Still not following our friend the cat, but it is doing a bit of its job there. At least it's not this tiny, thin little thing. So, doable. A little bit of playing around to match it up with your game when it comes to doing separate light sources, but especially on non-moving or slower moving objects, ones that aren't going like crazy, you'll be golden. This will be able to help pin that down for you nice and good. So, I hope that showed you a few of the most common stuff in a simple and easy to read manner. We're going to go over just a few settings real quick, which is all in the manual as well, but just a quick brief overview. By calling pause cycle and turning that to true, the whole system will pause temporarily until you set it to false anyhow. And the timer, the clock, the day, the minutes, the seconds, the dates, they'll all just hang in there waiting for you to turn it back on. We've already gone over calendar on, Global light cycle equals true. If you turn this to false, this will turn off the darkness overlay. So if you want the system to count time, but you don't want it to draw an overlay, you don't want it to draw the surface with the darkness, you can turn that off right there. We've gone over the day cycle length as well as the day and night pause. Max alpha is how dark you want your game world to get. 1 being absolute darkness and 0 being bright as day. Usually somewhere between 6 and 8 is the prime spot for your max darkness, but you can play around with those numbers and see which work out best for you. Cycle color can be called and changed. That will change the overall color of your surface. So if you want a bluish tint to your darkness, you could do sea blue, and then your dark crystal with glowing blue, dark cave with glowing blue crystals will then have a bluish darkness creeping in on it. Light swap is a feature you'll use if you want the game to go ahead and swap between the day and night pause halfway through the year to simulate the longer pause of night in winter and the shorter daytime. So you can turn that on or off to help you simulate that switch up in the seasons. Cycle clock, true. Disabling this will turn off the standard clock that you saw in the earlier demo where we got those 3 sets of digits. If you know you're not going to use the clock, well, it'll save a couple quick calls. You can turn that off. It's not needed. Cycle clock type can be either 12 or 24. That's for what type of clock you want to display, whether it's a 12-hour clock or a 24-hour clock, and of course what starting AM PM you want to go ahead and give it for whatever time you choose. You can choose your starting minutes, seconds, hours of your day if you want your day to change, start at a different point than midnight. As we went over, we can choose our starting day, week, month, and year, as well as how many days, weeks, months, and seasons we want in our game year. The names of the times of day listed. We have the days, the names of each of them. So the first day being Monday, the second day being a Tuesday, the third day being a Wednesday. You can adjust that to whatever you want. Just make sure you get one for each number for each of your days, or you're just going to get a generic number day name. Same for the months. You can name those up, have fewer, have more, whatever works for your game, and the same with the seasons. That's about all there is to the configuration. The rest of the scripts and tabs are all pretty much self-controlled. One thing that you can use is the function alpha correction. This will be in the manual as well, but if you call this function, the game will actually step through every minute of the day to correct the alpha to exactly where it's supposed to be for the time of day. So if you make a manual change to the time of the day, you can call that function and the game will adjust for you. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, and I hope you have a great time and good luck on your projects. Thank you very much.